Today, we're diving into something many of us experience, but few of us talk about openly: burnout. Have you found yourself staring blankly at your task, feeling nothing but exhaustion? Do you notice that things that once brought you joy now feel like obligations? Are you constantly running on empty with no reserve tank in sight? This emotional fatigue, this burnout, isn't just tiredness. It's a signal from your mind, body, spirit, and nervous system that something needs to change. We live in a world that celebrates the grind, from Beyonce's anthem of "I grind till I own it" to the endless hustle culture on social media. We're constantly told that rest is a reward, not a necessity. But as Tricia Hersey reminds us in her powerful book, Rest is Resistance, our worth isn't tied to our productivity, and rest itself can be a radical act of self preservation. In this episode, we'll explore what burnout really is, how to recognize its presence in your life, how to adjust when you're in its grip, and 5 concrete ways to begin your recovery journey. Be sure to share this episode with someone you care about, and let's start adjusting. Welcome to Adjusting, a safe space for candid conversations about mental health and well-being with your host, Justin G. Nelson. Whether you're recovering from trauma, redefining your purpose, managing mental health, or simply craving more authenticity, this show is for you. I hope something resonates with you and helps you on your own personal journey. So sit back, relax, and let's start adjusting. We're back. We are back for episode 2 of season 2 of Adjusting with your host, Justin G. Nelson. This episode came during a season when I truly am feeling burnout, and we're going to find ways to really find recovery and find the joy in things we do together, okay? Currently, as I record this podcast episode, I am working four part-time jobs. I work at the University of Memphis, I work for my church, I work on Broadway, front of house, and I have clients. On top of creating my own content like this podcast, you can imagine that I know burnout very well, okay? But we're going to find joy together in this episode. But before we get too far, I want to invite you to our sacred breath. If you're driving, focus on the road, pause the podcast. You can come back to it. Okay, we need you here. Thank you. So if you are not busy, just take a minute to ground your feet, put the baby aside. Okay, this moment is for you. Stop washing dishes, put the phone down, and listen. Yeah, you can do that. So on the count of 3, we're going to take a deep breath in. 1, 2, 3, and breathe out. 1, 2, 3. One more time. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3. And breathe out. 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much for joining me with this sacred breath. Even I did it. Like, I didn't breathe with you, but like the pausing of it all really gave me solace and allowed me to deepen my connection with what we're going to talk about today. Even my tone of voice just changed. So a few things before we dive into this heavy topic. Thank you all for sharing the podcast. We have hit 500 downloads across season 1 and this season here. The goal is 1,000. Okay, I need 1,000 so that I can get some sponsored ads and some more things. A client of mine recently said that I can share my podcast or content from the podcast in her magazine. So to me, that's a step forward. You know, I spoke very highly of this podcast because I really do love what I'm creating here, and I truly pray that in the next 2 to 3 years, this will grow into something bigger. But for now, let's talk about adjusting to burnout. So we heard in the introduction that a lot of us experience this thing called burnout, but we call it fatigue, or I'm just stressed, I'm just really tired. Like, there's a difference between really tired and burnt out. When you're feeling burnout, you're feeling like your joy has been stripped away or your purpose has been tainted, and you are sucked into capitalism where you are living in survival and not thriving. And that was one of my biggest goals for 2025 was to thrive and not survive. Even for year 10 of moving to New York, I just celebrated that last October. I said, I'm moving from surviving to thriving. So let's move from burnout so that we can really thrive and live our truest life. My therapist always says to me, Justin, what does it look like, or how does it look to live your best life? Like every morning, wake up with that in mind. And I can't live my best life if I'm operating in burnout. So, part one, we're talking about addressing the burnout. Under that, we have understanding burnout. So, burnout, by definition, is a chronic depletion versus temporary tiredness. So, for entrepreneurs like myself, my business type J marketing, that's when you accomplish something, but it just feels like a very minor thing. It's like, oh, I did it. So, for some people, it can be, oh, I hit 10K followers, and you're like, okay, let's try to get 50K. Like you never really celebrate the milestones. And I would share something, but I don't want to steal her shine. But be looking out. My best friend is going to drop a photo very soon to celebrate her accomplishment. And I told her, buy the dress. Buy the dress, okay? Shout out to you, best friend. In the field of creativity, the difference between creative blocks and true burnout. So a lot of time, content creators get in a season where they just don't want to create content. And we are tired of everything feeling like it has to be captured. Like some of us rob ourselves of the joy of just experiencing something or just being in the moment. And I'm guilty of that because I will go somewhere and like, I don't want to record content. I just want to be here and be in this moment and not feel like I have to share it with everyone. But when content creation is your money and your coin and how you live and it's your job, baby, you better pull your camera out. You better get you a external hard drive and back it up. Okay, you have bills to pay. But there comes a fine point sometimes where you're just like, if you're burnt out, they can wait. The content can wait. Um, and it says in my notes, like how the always be creating mindset in artistic communities leads to a diminishing return. I will be very transparent. And when I posted that season 2 was coming back, there was little to no noise from the friends group. Like it was just like, okay. And people say to me, and I don't think they realize that it's not a flex. It's more like a not a flex. But when people say, well, Justin, we expect it of you, or Justin, like you're always doing something, so we're not surprised. Be surprised. Okay, just go, ooh, like let me know that you care a little bit about what I'm putting out. I'm a multi hyphenate, multi passionate person. One day I'm recording a podcast, next day I'm in the kitchen cooking. Okay, and then I might throw on some clothes and be a model, but I need you to keep up and celebrate me. Okay, because these things bring me joy, they fulfill my purpose, and I am happy. But when I stop, that's when you need to be concerned. Okay, that's when you say, hey, I haven't seen you post. You good? No, I'm burnt out. Okay, I have been burnt out from auditioning. The rejection of it all. I haven't gone to an audition since October of 2024 when no, it was September of 2024 when I went in for ragtime at City Center and I didn't get it. I was done. I was done. That hurt, okay? But I was okay. I'm a bounce back. I will be auditioning very soon and I will hopefully be on a stage near you if you're in New York very soon. Another thing that people who experience burnout, how it comes up is the pressure to monetize every hobby and passion in the creator economy. Bring back hobbies. Okay, we need hobbies again. I found a hobby in reading thanks to my book club that I'm in, A1 Book Club. Like, I think I've read a total of 9 books. It'll be 10 once I finish this book we're going to talk about later in this episode. But I love it. And I love it to the point where now my friend Sierra and I will soon be launching our own show. It's not a podcast, it will be a show. Like I'm not starting another podcast. It will be a show. I don't want to share the name yet, but it'll be about romance books and cocktails. Okay. Well, some mocktails, some wine. I'm a wine guy. Okay. Give me a cab and I am sold. I am set. A cab and a good romance book. This bookshelf behind me, if you're watching on YouTube, like half of those books are romance books. And I can let y'all know, I am going to the Black Romance Book Festival for the first time. Okay, so I'm gonna try to meet Kennedy Ryan so that I can get an autograph. I'm not gonna take all her books with me, but I'm gonna take at least 3 of them because I want to make sure I can get some books back. But back to the episode. Another thing that really brings on a moment of burnout is when the algorithm changes and metrics become more important than the joy of creation. I posted a reel and I was talking to Ebony and I said, hey, if this reel doesn't do well, I posted it. I did my part. I did my part. So like those are ways that I have tried to not allow burnout to creep in. But I will say when my clients or when I'm posting stuff for church and I don't get the engagement, I'm just like, why am I doing all this? Why am I posting all this content when nobody's engaging? But you have to remember the why you're doing it and the who you're doing it for and not the outcome as much as the output. That's another page I got from Ebony. And the last thing is maintaining the artistic authenticity while meeting constant demand. Baby, these trends will tread you lightly, okay? You will be tired from trying to trend. People have lost who they are keeping up with the trend, okay? You make the trend. Don't make the trend make you. You'll get that later. Now, I want to go back to what I talked about in the intro with grind culture. Don't get me wrong, I love Beyonce. Beyonce and Keke Palmer are the only two Virgos I like. I said it, okay? I like Beyonce and I like Keke Palmer. That's it when it comes to Virgos. But the impact of grind culture and the mentality is aspirational. It's like you get up, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna get on this grind. But it's also like, I don't feel like grinding today. Like, can I rest? Like, I think we should add rest to the grind. Like, if there was an equation, it'll be grind plus rest equals success. You heard it here first, okay? Grind plus rest equals success. You got that for free, right? Now we're going to explore how constant hustle is glorified in modern society across industries, okay? So the blurring of work-life boundaries with smartphone and remote work. There's something that I've been doing with church. I'm part-time at church, and I think people forget that I'm part-time at church. I'm part-time. And I have to send out a text message, I'm just like, hey, in order for me to set better boundaries this year, 2025, if it's not an emergency, email me and I will get back to you during my business hours. Okay? They respected it. I was worried at first by setting my boundary, but they said, okay, we respect that. I see you setting boundaries. Good. Yes, a win is a win. We'll take that win. But when it comes to social media marketing, baby, I live in my phone, okay? There are moments where I wish I didn't have a phone, okay? I want to delete all the apps. So many of y'all say, I'm taking a break from social media. It's my job. I don't get the luxury of taking a break. Now, I will say, when I schedule my post and I don't have to open the app, I'm good. I'm resting, okay? But social media's role is sometimes to perpetuate the rise and grind mentality. We will not talk about Saratoga Man on this podcast because I was trying to keep that water, like I was trying to gatekeep it because I really like it, but he done took it and made it a part of his morning routine. But Saratoga, if you want to sponsor my podcast, you can send me a case. I'll put it right here, sparkling. Thank you. But if we want to look at addressing burnout in a spiritual context, how do you go about, I'm asking you, the listener, how do you go about fulfilling or refilling your spiritual depletion? Like a lot of us who work in ministry. So I work at church as brand manager, but I'm still a part of various ministries. I'm the social media ministry leader. I'm a part of the dance ministry. I'm a part of the music ministry where I sing on the praise team. And when I finish my other three jobs and go to church on Sunday to work the fourth job, I'm tired. So I often ask myself, like, how can I really take a moment to replenish my spiritual self? Shout out to pastors. I really have a soft spot for you all when it comes to burnout because I don't know if y'all ever think about it, but sometimes pastors are on call 24/7. Sometimes. Other times they only on call on Sundays and they only bother during the week. But anyway, the science, we're moving on. The science behind burnout, how it affects your nervous system. If y'all don't get anything else from my podcast episodes, we will heal the nervous system. Okay. When you're burnt out, your body, again, going back to the four F's, doesn't know which F to function in. Is it fight? Is it flight? Are we fawning? Are we freezing? You can't do none of them because your nervous system and your brain not connecting. It's just like, I just want to rest. I just want to take a nap. I want to zone out. I want to daydream. We don't give ourselves those moments because we're trying to keep up with the dollar or we're trying to meet these unrealistic deadlines. Like, I challenge you this week to move a deadline. Deadlines are flexible, okay? EOD, end of day, or EOW, end of week, can also be Monday. Because they're not working Saturday, Sunday. I give it to you beginning of week, okay? Leave me alone, Karen. And the last thing in this section is why high achievers and caretakers are particularly vulnerable to burnout, especially in the Black community. Like the grandmamas, the moms, primarily the women, experience the most burnout and they don't get the love or appreciation they deserve. So many women in my family carry the family on their back, okay? And I always try to just check in or tell them I love them. Whenever I'm home in Memphis, I'm like, let's go out to eat, or I'll buy them breakfast or a card or something, just some small token of appreciation that will help rejuvenate their nervous system in a way. So shout out to the women out there who are carrying their families and the men. I don't want to neglect the men. Some men are doing it all too, but we talked about the women. And then now I want to talk about recognizing where burnout shows up. So here are 6 ways, six areas that burnout can show up. So physical manifestation, chronic fatigue, and lowered immune system. This is for the busy people, busy parents, entrepreneurs, all of that. Make sure y'all are doing something to boost your immune system. On my wellness and lifestyle brand page, Earthy and Cultured, I'm always trying to just drop some tidbits here and there for foods or herbs that really help with your immune system. Here we are coming into spring. The immune system and what you eat can affect your mental as well as your physical. So keep that in mind, okay? So we're going to boost our immune system. And then number 2 is emotional signs. So the entrepreneur who feels detached from their business mission. I often, when I when I am under the influence of God's holy grace, I tend to go back to my why. Like I will zone out. That to me is my replenishment. And I only do it sparingly, so don't judge, okay? But when I do, I get some of the best like downloads and I'm able to really go just in like, are we living in our purpose? What can we let go of that you can then replace with something that's going to make you happy, make your light shine. Like I talked about in episode 1 with me being a beacon, and like really give back to myself, because we get one life and I want to make sure we are doing it well. We're adjusting to live our best life. That might be the name of my book. I don't know yet. And number 3 are cognitive effects, how burnout impacts the creative's ability to generate ideas. That's why I partake in God's holy craft, because sometimes I need a little support so that I can come up with some more ideas. Like this podcast came from, this podcast came from like one of them moments. Man, listen, there are benefits, okay? 420 Easter's on 420. Do with that what you want. Number 4, in relationships, when romantic connections start feeling like another obligation. I think that's where my last relationship failed. Like, well, I don't want to say they were burnt out because of me, but they were starting to feel like some separations. But if you and your partner, okay, are really not feeling that connection anymore and that spark is a little dull, maybe one of y'all burn out. But have a conversation. Don't break up. Just have a conversation. Say, babe, I don't know where the voice came from, but babe, I'm feeling overwhelmed, overstimulated, and I need to talk. Like, hold space for these people. Be a safe space. Don't be a space of comfort with your partner. Anyway, number 5, in community leaders, or for community leaders, resentment replacing the joy of service. Whew, I'm gonna move on. And number 6, the insidious nature of burnout, how it arrives gradually rather than subtly. Burnout creeps up. It's a creeper. Okay, it it's like, remember, I don't know if I mentioned this, but like my reader was talking about a wall. And I think sometimes burnout can also be described as a wall that blocks your creativity, your purpose, your vision. It blocks the drive that you have. It slows it down. So maybe burnout can be like molasses, or the hardening of something that really robs you of that drive. We will meditate on that. So moving on to part 2, adjusting to burnout. Now, here are 6 ways that we can start to adjust to burnout. We are humans. We will experience burnout in some capacity, but this is how we can adjust to it. For my creatives, give yourself, this is for me, but I'm just letting y'all listen. Give yourself permission to create without perfectionism and monetization. Everything ain't got to be monetized. I get it. Multiple streams of income. You gotta do. Yeah, I get it. You gotta do what you gotta do. But also, you gotta live and you gotta enjoy it. Okay. I am type A, B, and C. I don't know. The name of my business now is Type J Marketing, but I think I'm Type A, and I can be a perfectionist. I think my mom is a perfectionist too. She's a Libra. So, as long as she's not a Virgo. But anyway, I found that just posting it, like even with the podcast, things might change. Lighting may change. Placement of logos may change. Whatever. But I can't be tied to the perfection side of it. I need to just get what I feel in my heart out, and everything else would make sense. Like, even watching this episode, you probably didn't realize my logo is smaller in this video than it was in the last video. You didn't notice it, did you? See, you weren't worried about those things, so why should I be worried about it? Number 2, in family life, having honest conversations about needs and capacity. See, I told you, like, have those conversations with your partner, with your friends, and just say, I'm overstimulated, or can we just go for a walk? Can we not hang out this weekend? And it's not hanging out with your partner is not a sign that they don't like you. They are human, okay? I am not doing an episode about adjusting to your anxious attachment, because I have it and I will not expose myself like that, okay? But just know that anxious and avoidant attachment styles are real. People have them. Some people don't know how to live with them. I am still working through my anxious attachment, inner child work here. Okay. Number 3, for those in leadership, delegating responsibilities without guilt. There has to be a sense of trust if you want burnout to subside. If you are a leader, you have to trust your team because you hired them. You have to trust your team because you're the one who hired them, unless there was nepotism. Other than that, you got to start delegating more. You have to be able to disconnect from something because you then give yourself time to live, to find new ideas, to find better ways to do things. But you can't operate or grow your business if you're trying to be the only one running the business. That's not how that works. Number 4, in dating and relationships, setting expectations about your current energy levels. I'm single, so I can't really talk about that. But if you're in a relationship, this is for you, okay? Set expectations about your current energy levels. Sometimes you just need to cuddle. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, you ain't gotta do that every time y'all. Just cuddle. Just be in a space. Okay, learn your love languages. Physical touch is a thing, but it ain't gotta be the other thing. Okay. Number 5, for those in spiritual communities, finding alternatives to high involvement practices. Fasting. We're going to talk about this book in the next episode, but a different kind of fast. My church is reading it for Bible study, and it has truly shifted a lot of my things. And it's also brought me back to breathing. I'm doing my tantric yoga challenge again right now, and we are talking about like the breath of fire, the 4-7-8 breathing, and other things, and like really attaching to those spiritual practices outside of church, even yoga or going for walks, have allowed me to just disconnect myself from certain things so that I'm able to replenish. And when I go to church, I can minister more. It works. And then the last one, some practical tools. So, time blocking, energy management versus time management. That's a real thing. So sometimes we say, I'm going to work for 2 hours and then I'm going to go eat. Then I'll go to the gym and I come back and work for another 2 hours. That's time management. But baby, where's your energy management? Like, how are you balancing your energy so that you can really get the most out of your projects or your interactions, conversations, and things like that? Like, I really think energy management probably needs his own episode, but keep that in mind. Energy management versus time management. And then minimum viable daily routines. Less is more, okay? Like again, Beyonce, the quote that says we have the same 24 hours as Beyonce. We do, but we do not have the same budget or team as Beyonce. Like, again, grind plus rest equals success, or hustle plus rest. Whatever I said earlier in the episode, that's the equation. Okay, some of this stuff I come up with in the moment, so just go back and listen to it. And now, the final part of this episode, applying the recovery technique. So we talked about addressing the burnout and the fatigue that comes with it. We talked about adjusting to burnout and communication, finding ways to like go for walks, reconnect to yourself. But now we're going to apply the recovery techniques. So here are 5 essential takeaways, okay? Number 1, radical rest. Now I can talk about the book. All right. So I talked about this in season 1, but I went to Hope in Harlem 2 years ago, and Tricia Hersey was the keynote speaker. She's the founder of the NAP Ministry, and I got her book, Rest is Resistance. She signed it. Now, I will say, I was really upset when I finished this book. I called Ebony and I was just like, this book is not for me. Okay. This book is for people who have money and can afford to rest. I am not in a place where I can rest. Well, finish this book. It grew on me. It did grow on me. I have her rest deck here. I pull these sometimes in the morning as a part of like my morning routine. But I mentioned that my church is reading this book, A Different Kind of Fast. And we were on week 2 where we were adjusting to, it was an invitation to fast from scarcity anxiety and embrace radical trust in abundance. And I was out walking, and the author of this book, Christine Valters Painter, she says, the ability to embrace a slower life is something out of reach for many who have to work multiple jobs to make ends meet or are single parents. Tricia Hersey, the powerful voice behind the NAP ministry, writes in her book, Rest is Resistance, that I have, that the desperate and valid question of how can I rest if I have to pay bills is the beating heart of its work. And then she goes on to proclaim rest as our divine birthright. And those for whom rest seems especially exclusive are commissioned with the necessary task of resetting the endless grind of our culture. So that was week 2. And then week 3, she brought it up again. And I was just like, girl, Christine, you be reading Rest is Resistance. And I just really love how my spiritual world kind of connected with my outside world. So I would really recommend these 2 books. Again, this is A Different Kind of Fast. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm showing you. And then Rest is Resistance. And I think for next year, I'm going to invite you all to read A Different Kind of Fast with me. And by then I'll have like a more sacred platform kind of thing for adjusting, and we will talk about this together. But getting back to the application process, so radical rest. Rest is Resistance just talks about really breaking down capitalism and making rest the priority. For creatives, radical rest is building inspiration, gathering without the pressure to produce, and giving yourself permission to rest without achievement or output. After this episode, take a rest, take a break, put the phone down, even if it's 10 minutes, just rest, okay? Number 2, the second essential takeaway is boundary reconstruction. Another thing for 2025, set the boundaries. They are for you, not the other person, okay? They will adjust to the boundary. For entrepreneurs, creating sustainable business practices that prevent future burnout. Schedule send those emails. Use AI to generate your emails. Schedule send them and go sleep. I do it. Trust me, it's helpful. In your sacred communities, how to step back from commitment without guilt. This is something I struggled with so bad. And I feel like it's something about like the Black church and tradition where when you want to step back from something, not because you hate it, but because it's really draining you, and people say you gonna miss your blessing because you're not up there. Baby, I'm not finna. Somebody said something along the lines of, you can praise your way through. Yes, but I'm not. I can't pour from an empty cup. That's what I'm getting at. Like, I can't get up there and sing praises to the Lord and I'm running on below E. Okay, the car isn't moving. The battery is dead. Okay, but you want me to get up there every set up. And then there were other reasons why I just stopped singing because me and leadership weren't seeing eye to eye. So I was just like, I'm good. We're good. We're good. I'm gonna take a break. I'm setting this boundary. Yeah. And then the third takeaway from the recovery path is purpose reconnection. So for people who are on their spiritual journey, finding meaning in smaller and quieter practices. Okay, so meditation can be a thing, walking can be a thing, drinking water can be a thing. For parents, rediscovering joy in family beyond the daily responsibilities. Movie night, bring back movie nights, okay? Bring back takeout and a movie. My mom, dad, brother, and I did that all the time, okay? We would order pizza on Fridays and watch a movie, and I loved that. We had good family bonding. Exercises to remember your why beneath the exhaustion. I always tell people who are looking to like get into content creation or really struggling with building a brand and wanting to create. And I was like, you're passionate, but you're not relaying that passion or converting that passion to content. And a lot of people just like, I want to do this because it's trending. And I'm just like, yeah, but like, it's not you. It doesn't speak to your authenticity. It speaks to capitalism. So like, stop that. Number 4, community cultivation. For those dating, building relationships that energize rather than deplete. I'm going to have to bring a relationship expert on here to talk about things because, again, I don't want to speak about relationships because for my POV, I was a great partner. And my exes will tell you I was good. I was good. You know, most of the time it wasn't me. First relationship, it was me. It was me. I ain't gonna lie. I was young. I was young and dumb. Okay, but I learned a lot. Thanks to Bell Hooks, All About Love. But really getting to a space where you're with your partner where you can go on like cute dates or go shopping or have a little staycation where you turn the phones off, turn on the TV, and just be in that space together without thinking about anything else. Making sure your partner is really rooting for you, rooting for not only you as in the world of like your success, but like your health, your mental success. Like, you know, I'm really proud that you are setting those boundaries, or I'm really happy that we are doing this together. Like those little things really make a healthy relationship. Finding peers who understand your specific type of burnout, like really knowing who your safe spaces are when it comes to burnout and who you can kind of unpack with so that you can get to the root of your burnout. Be open to feedback. Thank you. And how to ask for help without feeling vulnerable. A lot of people in creative spaces or leadership really fear asking for help because I don't know why people, when they ask me for help, it comes with, but don't take my job. I don't want your job. Like, bruh, I'm just trying to help you take a break. I'm gonna stop offering help. How about that? And then the last thing is a gentle re-entry. So once you have done all this work, don't try to rush back into being Superman, okay? Take a break. Easily slide back into things, okay? For creatives, starting with small, low-pressure projects. Organize your Dropbox or delete some stuff. Go to a workshop or something. Like, don't just jump back into the project thinking you finna be the producer, editor, designer, all those things. Like, to ease back into it. In family context, gradually re-engage responsibilities. And then lastly, creating a sustainable pace that prevents future burnout cycles. I think this was a great episode. Like, we really are doing the work to redefine burnout, to not make burnout our personality, but just a phase that we have to go through in order to grow into who we're meant to be and to really operate in our highest purpose for our future self. Okay? So thank you for joining me this week as we talked about adjusting to burnout. I really hope and pray that you took something from this episode. I really tried to expand who I was talking to. So like the people in relationships, my creatives, entrepreneurs, spiritual people, because I know a lot of you all listen to the content and I'm grateful for it. Next week, I have 2 topics in mind. I don't want to say it here because it might change, but thank you all for listening. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe, download. I need those downloads and all those things. But until next time, be blessed, be safe. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. I hope you take something away to help you make the adjustments you need. Before you go, please take a quick second to share this with someone you care about. And if you can, please leave a 5-star rating and review on whatever platform you're listening to this on. For more information about adjusting or to inquire about being a guest, head over to adjustingpod.com. Until next time.